We have my 2012 Ford Fusion. Yes, I am in pajamas. It is Sunday. Got nothing to do today besides fix this light and watch the Pacers play. Go Pacers. So, see, we have a airbag light. And I already know this one's not going to be easy. So come down here in the back. This pin connector is usually the culprit. Usually you get high resistance in this connector, sometimes even upwards of 30, 40 ohms. But we don't have that. So I'm gonna get out my computer, open up IDS, and show you what we got going on. I also highly recommend, if you like working on your Ford, you don't like having to go to the dealership, and kind of tired of dealing with bad scanners, highly recommend you get a clone VCM2. I can link where I got mine. So right now I'm just in my IDS, red toolbox. I'm gonna go to data logger. Actually, real quick, I'll show you guys the code I'm getting. Should be a B0020 type 13. Yes, so B0020 type 13, left side airbag deployment control, circuit open. Yep. So come over to red toolbox. I'm gonna go into data logger, and we're going to modules, restraint control module. And you don't need acceleration thresholds, rollover thresholds. Don't need any of this. Basically, we do want everything that is resistance. So, yes, some of these are for passenger side, but we're gonna go ahead and look at them. So everything that's showing resistance. Right. Okay. So, and this says 0 ohms. This is for driver's knee bolster deployment. There is no knee bolster airbag on this car, so I should not even put that in here. But yeah, so 3 ohms, a little too high. Everything should be around 2.3, 2.4. 3.9, definitely a little too high. But yeah, like I said, this one's gonna be a little bit harder because usually you'll see upwards of 20, 30, 40 ohms, 50, 60 ohms. And that is really obvious to see and to pinpoint, but we do not have that. Looks like we just have just enough for the circuit, for the module to believe that there is an open circuit. You see, these should be all passengers. Up this left curtain and passenger. Focus passenger. This is pretensioner. Not having a pretensioner problem. This is also passenger pretensioner. So basically, I'm gonna come back to these pits, and I am going to get rid of a couple of them. Get rid of knee bolster. Get rid of passenger. No, I said I was gonna look at them, but it's just gonna kind of clutter up, complicate things. Not that we have a lot of PIDs to look at, but just to be easier with you guys. Driver's side, this is the main one that we need right here. Left curtain, we'll keep that. Passenger, take that off. Passenger, right curtain, take that off. We don't need pretensioner. Our pretensioner is not giving us any problem. All right, so we're gonna be looking at driver frontal stage 1 deployment control resistance, driver frontal stage 2 deployment control resistance, and the big one we're looking at is driver side airbag deployment control resistance, and we're throwing in left curtain deployment control resistance. And yep. All right. And I'm going to graph these so it is a bit easier to see. To graph them, not gonna let me graph them? Okay, there we go. I wasn't technically clicked on it. You click on the one you want to graph, come over here, and this is the style it's in right now. We're going to click on a graph, and we don't need to be able to see 600 ohms. We'll just take it down to about, I don't know, 150 or so. Call that good. And now we have a graph of this one, but we're gonna graph all these. We're gonna make these graphs a little bit smaller, because look how huge this graph is. We don't need this graph to be that huge. So we're going to come over here after we select this graph. You see now it's selected because it's showing which one it is. We're gonna come over here and you can see the little arrows pointing inwards. These outwards one will make it bigger. These ones pointing inwards towards the graph will make it smaller. So we're gonna make these all smaller so we can see them all on the same screen. And this is the main one, so you know, I'll keep this one bigger just so it's easier to quickly reference. All right, so one right here at the top, we got left curtain airbag. Not really one we're looking at. You can see we're at 2.45 ohms. That is perfectly normal. 3.9, that is a little abnormal. That should be just enough for the module to think that there's an open circuit. And then driver frontal stage 2 is a little high. Same with driver frontal stage 1. So main one we're keeping an eye on is this driver side airbag deployment control resistance, because that is the one that we have the code for. So basically what I'm going to do is got an eye out on our driver side airbag deployment control resistance. We're going to come here under the seat, and you know, first thing you really want to do is, it's nice to unclip this from the back right here, bottom back. You know, just give your pin a little wiggle, give your connector a little wiggle. You know, see, we're not really seeing anything here. I'm wiggling this thing. We're staying right at about 3.9. So we might just have some high resistance in this connector, but I really don't think so. Now, if we come under here, you can see the big thing that shoots out to me is this wire does a complete 180 right here. So I'm going to give that a little wiggle as we watch. And I'm not seeing anything. To my surprise. Okay. This is, I believe this is the passenger pretension. We're gonna give this a little wiggle, just to make sure. No, I am not a certified Ford technician, but I do know some basic things when it comes to working on Fords. At least my Ford. I was just thinking about it. I don't think this is a pre-tension. I think with these Fords, I believe the pre-tension is actually in the belt itself, down in here, under this B-pillar trim. I believe this is probably either getting the, it's either pulling the current from the connector when your seatbelt is on, or this is going to be something with the driver's seat track. Not entirely sure though, just gonna be honest. Next one we're gonna look at is, we're gonna look at this yellow one back down in here. See if I can zoom in on this. This one right down here. Yeah, I know, pretty dirty under here. I wanna get this seat out, clean up under here. Car's 13 years old. Grandma owned it. She loved eating candy and chips and her little snacks up in here. Just me not trying to take the blame for any of that. All right, so we're gonna wiggle this. Ooh, we have found our issue, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you just seen that spike up. Oh, going down to 2.7, back up to 3. All right, we have found our connector. And you know, basically it's really that simple, you know. You save yourself a lot of money if you get yourself one of these Ford VCMs. I'll put a link down in the one that I got. It has done me very well, and you know, it's such good quality that you can update the firmware in it to the newest. If you want to actually use the newest version of IDS, you can see this is version 115. I believe the newest version is maybe 120 something, 130 something. I don't know. This is pretty outdated. This is like 2020 software, and it is 2025 right now. So yeah, it's really that easy. You pull up your PIDs for your PID is a parameter identification. These are PIDs. Deployment 10R, deployment 11R, deployment 01R, deployment 00R. Those are PIDs. And you pull up those PIDs, pull the resistance off them, and basically you start wiggling plugs. Start wiggling wires, wiggling plugs, and that will point you in the correct direction. So basically what I'm gonna do with this is I am going to try my best to access this connector. You see it's pretty down in there, hard to get to. Gonna try to, you know, depin the connector, clean it out, check for any corrosion, any moisture, any gunk. And then after I do that, I'm gonna go back through and do the same thing I just did. Wiggle it, make sure that there are no resistance spikes. And if there are still resistance spikes, next thing you wanna do is, now that you have that connector cleaned out, you wanna start wiggling the wire before the connector and then wiggle the wire after connector and try to locate where it is you're having a problem. If there's actually a cut in the wire, a pinch in the wire, you know, anything like that. And that will fix your airbag light. Thank you guys for watching.